It's nice to welcome you to this edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, that TV program where you get to know about the assiduous efforts of NAFDAC, which is aimed at ensuring that we remain healthy by patronizing only wholesome food products, standard drugs, and approved cosmetics. I am Amanda Ugo. The focus of today's edition of NAFDAC and Your Health is to react to a publication by Flowerbed News, an online news platform that NAFDAC does not have food laboratories for testing fortification. NAFDAC comes all out to refute this erroneous assertion with visible and tangible evidences. The mandate of NAFDAC to regulate food products, drugs, cosmetics, medical equipment, and chemicals is one that is very germane to the well-being and safety of the entire Nigerian nation. This huge responsibility entrusts lives and well-being of the entire citizenry onto the regulatory agency. The enormous task requires that NAFDAC carries out proper and adequate laboratory analysis on the regulatory product, and this the agency has assiduously done over the years, particularly since the current Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, took over the mantle of leadership at the agency.
When I got to NAFDAC in 2017, I think within a week of maybe second week, I just went to Oshodi lab to see the state of the lab. I was bone shocked at the state of the lab. Bone shocked. When I got back to the office in the solo that day, my PA said, I need to go home. I said, why? He said, your countenance has completely changed. That was how bone shocked I was, because 70 to 80% of the equipment were not working. And I said, how can you do any testing when 70 to 80% of the equipment were not working? That was part of my first project to ensure that our labs are well resourced. And we have spent over 6 billion naira on lab equipment. Because if we do not test our food, our drugs, our medical devices or vaccines or whatever, we put the population at risk. The population, it will never be safeguarded in terms of their health. So that is premium to me.
With the level of attention given to the issues of laboratory and the huge amount so far expended to ensure that the agency can boast of world-class laboratories equipped with modern and high-tech laboratory equipment, the online publication by Flowerbed News, an online news platform, on the 30th of September 2023, no doubt did a great disservice to the regulatory agency. In the publication, which was said to be resonating an assertion made by the Nigeria Economic Summit Group in collaboration with the Civil Society Legislative Advisory Center, it was reported that NAFDAC does not have a testing laboratory for fortification. The publication went on to say that NAFDAC relies on private laboratories to test fortified foods. NAFDAC can authoritatively refute the assertion made by this publication with visible and tangible evidences.
The Food Chemicals Lab in Oshodi is a lab that is continuously, since 2018, being equipped with new analytical instruments. And where we are now, we have what I would say well-equipped lab. We have not finished equipping the lab. However, in terms of micronutrient analysis, NAFDAC has always done its micronutrient analysis. We do not source any other lab for analysis. We have not sent anything. We do not send anything outside. Which lab are we going to send things to in Nigeria? Which lab are we going to send things to? We have well-trained lab staff And what they only needed was equipment to work with. And they've been, we've supported them all the way. Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons is located in our Food and Chemicals Lab. OPCW is headquartered at The Hague in Netherlands. They came in February of this year, and they were pleasantly surprised with the types of equipment that we have. And I believe very soon they're going to make our lab in Oshodi the center of excellence for Africa, because they send samples to us, unknown samples to test. They, of course, train our staff too. So when they send unknown samples to you and you get it, that is part of the auditing that they do. But they came physically in February, and they were pleasantly surprised. That is how much we have invested in the lab, and it is the same thing with the food lab. The food lab is Center for Excellence in Africa, one of the centers of excellence, rather, in Africa, the food lab. And what we have to come out of a mentality of, if you don't send it overseas, or if it doesn't come from overseas, it doesn't work. It is a, I don't know, post-colonial mentality. But again, I don't blame those who may be saying that, because NAFDAC of 5 years ago is no longer NAFDAC of today. So I'm just making a public announcement that NAFDAC lab is well equipped for any analysis.
Today, there are quite obvious proofs that NAFDAC, under the leadership of Professor Adeyeye, has taken exponential strides in the advancement of its laboratory services, bringing about significant improvements in the discharge of the agency's mandate and placing the agency in an enviable position among similar agencies across the globe.
I met 4 laboratories that were accredited before I came to NAFDAC. I'm talking of just Laboratory Accreditation 17025 ISO. But it is one thing to accredit a lab. It is another to maintain the accreditation. And you maintain the accreditation with good response from management, with equipment that the lab will need. So since then, all the 4 labs have been re-accredited. And it's not just that. The Vaccines and Biologics lab in Yaba is the only lab, only in-house vaccines and biologics laboratory in sub-Saharan Africa. That was accredited January 2019, ISO 17025 accredited. But the mother of all accreditation is pre-qualification by WHO. We started the pre-qualification benchmarking 2019. Unfortunately, the pandemic came in and it couldn't go through. Then we initiated it again in 2023. And they came in February. It took about 3 or 4 days of exhaustive inspection. The bottom line is that the Yaba Central Drug Lab is now WHO pre-qualified. One of the few in Africa that is pre-qualified. WHO is yet to put the announcement on their website. So this is part of what we need to know in Nigeria, that NAFDAC is not stopping at ML3. We now have the Central Drug Lab with WHO pre-qualification. And we are not stopping there. Our goal is to make at least 3 or 4 of our labs pre-qualified, because we have 7 labs, including the Yaba lab. So we are not stopping at all. We're going to get to maturity level 4. We're going to get our vaccine laboratory to have WHO ML4. We're working on that. There's a lot that NAFDAC is working at, and I believe that with the trajectory that we've been on since 2017, by God's grace, we will get there.
Mrs. Eva Edwards is the Director, Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, the Directorate of NAFDAC that directly oversees all matters relating to food products.
There are some steps that we take. There's a regulatory regime that we follow to ensure that before a product is assigned a NAFDAC registration number, it has gone through the rigor of satisfactory documentation, facility inspection, which should have been satisfactory, and laboratory testing, which should show that it is satisfactory. There is no way the agency is going to register any food products, in fact, any of her regulated products, without going through laboratory testing. And I should mention that Nigeria has a national mandatory food fortification program. Now, this program mandates that selected food vehicles must be fortified with micronutrients which have been demonstrated, found to be deficient in the population. And these selected food vehicles are wheat flour, maize flour and their meals, semolina composite flour. We also have, these ones I've just mentioned must be fortified with vitamin A, folic acid, iron, zinc, and some other micronutrients. Then we also have vegetable oil and sugar, which must be fortified with vitamin A. And when we say fortified with these vitamins and minerals, they are supposed to reach a certain minimum level. And these are tested in the laboratories. For salt, we speak about iodization. It's all within the remit of food fortification. Salt must be fortified with iodine. So to say that maybe foods that should be fortified with micronutrients pass through the NAFDAC process without testing is not something that we do.
I've been working with the agency for the past 3 decades and above, and I can confirm that analysis of any product, either imported or made in Nigeria, has always gone through our laboratory for analysis, either food or drug, cosmetics, or any product. Not to talk of food that are fortified. We have laboratories that carry out analysis of all fortified products, flour, margarine, vegetable oil, mention it. We have laboratory that carry out this analysis, and I have worked in the lab for more than 16 years before I became a director, and we carry out analysis adequately. All these parameters are adequately checked, and we compare them to international standard before they can be registered.
NAFDAC and Your Health returns after the short break. It's good to have you back on NAFDAC and Your Health. NAFDAC's food laboratories have been conducting an annual survey on food fortification in Nigeria for the past 10 years. The agency's Central Food Laboratory in particular has international accredited micronutrient laboratory units with the state-of-the-art equipment. It is in these laboratories that all food products undergo analysis before approvals are given.
We have the vitamin lab. We have the heavy metals lab. They also handle the nutritional metals and the toxic heavy metals. And they are well equipped. Behind me are some HPLCs. Where we are now is the vitamins lab. What they do here is to analyze the water-soluble vitamins as well as the fat-soluble vitamins. For any product to be registered, it must go through laboratory analysis, and we must make pronouncement whether the product complies with the specifications for that product. If it is mandatory fortification, the product must show high level of compliance. Not less than 95% of the fortificant must be present in the food. If it is voluntary fortification, we cross-check to find out if what the manufacturer claimed he added into the food substance is exactly what is there. It's not just talking or trying to deceive the public. So if you claim that you added iron, you must tell us the value of the iron, and we must also confirm that the iron is complying with what you stated. That is for voluntary fortification. But for mandatory fortification, it must be not less than what is expected of. This lab alone has about 39 scopes accredited, and our accreditor is American National Accreditation Body based in US. Every year, they ensure that we are still compliant with the scopes and standards that we were accredited to.
I've been participating in the analytical aspects of vitamin fortification project in Nigeria since inception. And I have gone through this lab, all the analysis on fortified food. We have gone through them, fortified food, flour, vegetable oil, margarine, sugar. We have worked on all those samples in this laboratory. I worked on them as an analyst. Even from here, I grew to director cadre. I still come into the lab to make sure that I train the staff that are here. If they have any challenge, they consult me. So I'm always on ground on fortification in Central Laboratory Oshodi. Examples of analysis that we do vitamin A in products like edible oil. We do analysis of vitamin A in sugar, in margarine, and in flour. So we also do analysis of preservatives and sweeteners in food drinks and other products. We also do analysis of water-soluble vitamins in malt drinks and other food products. So we have dedicated instruments for this analysis. This one is dedicated for the analysis of vitamin A. This one is for the analysis of water-soluble vitamins. This one is for the analysis of preservatives. So we have a preparation room on that side. We have rapid testing methods for analysis as well. We call it I-check. So this is for analysis, as I said, rapid testing. So when we do this analysis, if there is any issue, if we have to do a confirmatory analysis, we refer to our HPLC.
Where we check for vitamin A in vegetable oil, margarine, sugar, and flour. As it is now, this is one of the work I'm doing on margarine using HPLC. And you can see this is the peak that we have detected for our standard and for the samples that we are running. So we also do vitamin B series. This is vitamin A in margarine that I'm running presently. We also do vitamin B series in other food products like non-alcoholic drinks like malt. As you can see, there's another work I'm running. Those are the standards. So after the standard, we are going to run the samples as well.
Most of the samples that come in to Oshodi lab are being analyzed for metal contaminant layer. So, and the instrument we use one is AAS here, the other way is the ICP OES there, and we have the MS, which are the software will be upgraded. Now in the AAS here, most of the samples that undergo here are mostly, food samples that are even including water including even chemicals and all other samples that come in are being analyzed here. There's no sample that goes out of here, no result of the sample that goes out of here that will not go without the result of the metal. So almost all the samples that come into Oshodi lab are being analyzed here. We have all the capacity to take on the meta-analysis, including the nutrients, because we have the AS. This AS is a newly purchased AS, which contains almost all the metals. It's a multi-element hollow cathode lamp that takes care of all the metals. So we don't need to contract any of our samples out. This takes care of everything, all the samples that come in.
This lab, yes, is designated by AFRA as a center of excellence in certain areas. One of them is the microtoxin. That is to say, we have grown to the level we can offer analytical activity in these areas, and we can also instruct people on these areas. One of them is mycotoxin, and another one is micronutrients, and it is functional. Some countries in Africa do come here for training, and we do also partner with them on PT and interlab comparison. We prepare interlab comparison samples here, and we send to other countries. Like Cote d'Ivoire recently partnered with us on iodine in salt. And iodine is one of the fortificants. We have also participated in PT from other countries, and we have not done badly. We have always been excellent in our PTs. That is to show you that the level of technology, the level of competency of staff in this laboratory is very, very high.
The commitment of NAFDAC to safeguard the health of Nigerians remains unshaken. This is why the management and the entire workforce continue to explore every strategy to maintain the highest standards as far as food and drug regulation are concerned. The agency, however, enjoins all to continue to follow the activities of the agency via this platform, the agency's website, and every other credible platform to be abreast of the agency's concerted efforts to keep Nigerians safe. This has been our package on today's episode of NAFDAC and Your Health. We'll be back again next week with another bumper package. Meanwhile, if you have any information for us on activities that can jeopardize the good work of NAFDAC, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700-162-3322. For complaints, call 0800-162-3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email, reforms@nafdac.gov.ng, or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Remember, it is against the law to import, produce, distribute, or sell unwholesome food products, fake cosmetics, expired or unapproved drugs, and so on. Join NAFDAC in the fight against these products so that we can have a healthy nation. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.